The main casualty of the strike by Workers' Club employees was the Rick Nelson concert set down for last night. People turning up for the concert were greeted by closed doors and a sign saying the club was shut until today. Members of the public were not told why the club had suddenly closed. Refunds on last night's cancelled concert were available today, but promoters hope to reschedule it for October 18. Today the club was operating as normal. The employees resumed normal duties at 9 o'clock this morning on the condition that the Workers' Club board discussed the dismissal with delegates from the Liquor Trades Union. That meeting began a short time ago, and latest reports say both parties are confident a compromise can be reached and the club will remain open.
I hope a lot of young people go to see Who Cares because it deals with some very important issues relating to our environment. In fact, just about every current concern gets a Guernsey, from seal hunts to noise pollution. In the play, 2 till 5 Theatre has used the loose structure of a couple of aliens looking at Earth from afar to see if it's fit for habitation, and I don't need to tell you the answer. Within this structure then, the play is a series of sketches, as usual devised by the group itself, and so there's a wide variety of content, style and degree of success. The best scenes were those that were played directly to the audience, involving its conscience in the action. Some of the youngsters played a little bit too much to themselves. As well, I'd like to see them be a bit bigger and freer with voice and action. They needn't be afraid of making people look at them because they have something to offer. But still, Who Cares had a lot of things going for it. The kids use a lot of interesting and unusual techniques, such as mime and animal characterisation, and they show a good sense of the power of satire. As well, of course, they ask a very, very important question, which is what'll happen to the environment if no one cares? You can catch the kids at Wood Street Theatre Monday to Friday at 5, Saturday 11 and 5.
The development covers 61 hectares with provision for 180 home units and 120 building block sites. The Newcastle-based owner, Waterhouse Investments Pty Limited, says the home units are to be built at the top of the hill with the subdivision planned for the lower reaches of the development. Blocks are expected to sell for $40,000 each, while the home units have a price tag of around $80,000. A road is being built to link Eleebana with Crowders Bay. Developer Mr Ben Westbury says the first building block should be ready for sale in April. He says his company has great confidence in the area.
We believe that there are indications that the worst of the recession is over, and that from here onwards there'll be steady and but sure growth. Now we think that by the time we're ready to market these in July, that there'll be money for the purchases and everything else.
What makes this development different from others in the area?
Well, this is the first time that a large parcel of land like this, 150 acres, has been divided equally between parks and gardens and open space. 75 acres is going to that, and 75 acres retained for the actual units and freestanding blocks.
And local ace John Pine is preparing for the war. Today he track tested his brand new weapon for the season, a Holden Commodore, built entirely of Aussie parts and assembled locally.
We made the car ourselves, and that's why it's so cheaper than a lot of the other imported cars. They're looking at 25 and 30,000, where we can't afford that, so we handmade everything, and then I think it's much better because you know the car better.
The Americans, why have they always had the edge on Australian drivers?
Well, I think they do it for a living. We race once a week for a hobby, and they do it 5 and 6 nights a week for a living, so it's much more over there. It's big time.
The difference of racing on the hard surface and the dirt surface, is it a tremendous difference with a car?
Oh yeah, you got to tune the car a bit different, and plus you got to tune yourself a lot different to cope with. There's not as much sliding. When the track goes hard, well, it's more drive and braking, and don't make any mistakes, because once you lose adhesive, you're in the wall. On
the hard track, what sort of speeds will this car reach?
Well, it's so much, like end of the straights, you're probably reaching 80 and 90 mile an hour. It's who can get round the corner the quickest and the neatest and back down the straight. That's the name of the game, sort of thing.
When you race the Americans, is it a team effort or everybody racing as an individual?
No, we raced as a team last year, and I think it showed that we won 3 out of 4. We were unlucky on 1, and all of us just got in as a team and raced well. I think it was a good season.
So your message to the spectators is, come on Aussie, come on.
Yeah, come on Aussie, that's right. We're sticking with it.
Main branch has just crossed the bridge. Here comes the breakaway unit coming up here now. We just keep the crowd back 7 hours and then we'll move further on down forward back. All the officials. Here they come. One wants to see who's out. It looks like it could be the rider, John One is there. Coming up the doors, the front finish. They go there.
John, what do you think about the welcome in the Torres?
Oh, all the welcomes we've had in all the towns have been fantastic, and for a small town like this, we've got a great crowd. Well, I just have to thank all the residents of Kurua for sure.
And John, what was it like going around the Lakes Way?
Oh, well, I had a bit of drama. I punched it going around a corner, and I managed to keep the bike upright. But then again, I had to chase afterwards, and I didn't really expect to win this stage either, because I was feeling pretty tired.
And apparently the pace early in the bike race along the flats there, before we got into the mountain area of the Lakes Way, that was very fast section of the bike race.
Yeah, it certainly was. I was glad when I punched it I had to change bikes, and I got a bigger chain wheel on the front, give me a bigger gear, and I tell you I really needed it coming into here.
Thank you very much. We're going to go and have a shower now and wash, and put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for the stage winner at your John Waters from 1982. Go.
Buyers came from as far afield as Gravesend and Wyong to attend the sale at Mr Ray Bergman's Urani stud. The French breed is said to be changing the image of crossbreeding because of its versatility. It has also become very successful in the show ring, having scooped the pool in the heavier classes at the Brisbane show. President of the Hunter Valley Charolais Breeders Association, Mr Ray Bergman, says the breed's popularity is increasing at an incredible rate.
Right throughout the valley, they've been winning at the major shows time and time again. They're just gaining and gaining.
And what are some of the qualities?
Well, they're a very quiet animal, they're a big animal, they're a fast-growing animal, they get beautiful conformation, and they're just going.
Do you ever think that the Charolais will replace the Hereford as Australia's top beef breed?
If it follows overseas trends in Australia, well, I believe they eventually will. They're certainly troubling other breeds over there now, and I certainly think that it'll follow here too.
Harold Sessions is back. He's been on holidays for a month. Well, they'll be virtually telling them that there was no change, that there's been no guarantees of security, and in fact that the stories we've been told regarding the future vacancies in the industry certainly do not exist, and that is fact, not fiction.
There was a delegation from the South Coast Mining District at the Newcastle meeting today. Just what was the purpose of their attendance?
They wished to come up to hear what the people had to say here in relation to our own position and the position generally. They declared their utter support for what we're doing, and of course we also carried a vote of confidence and support for those people who are conducting the stay-in campaign at Camera in the interest of their own jobs and in fact people in other industries on the South Coast.
Another subject concerning mining unions today was the imminent closure of the No. 2 coke ovens battery at the Newcastle Steelworks. BHP says the battery will stop production as soon as practicable after the closure of the No. 3 blast furnace, and that's scheduled for next month. The moves will result in the direct loss of a further 221 jobs at the steelworks, but there'll also be a resultant drop in coal demand of 500,000 tonnes a year. The mining unions are concerned about the flow-on effect in their industry. Delegates will report to pit-top meetings at all BHP mines tomorrow. The three-day convention was organised by the Newcastle Industrial Safety Association. Organisers said they hoped up to 600 delegates from all facets of industry will attend. The theme for the convention is Expanding Concepts in Safety, covering the important issues of safety, health, environment and legislation. Mr Hills, in outlining the legislation he'll put before State Parliament next month, presented some thought-provoking statistics.
For every Australian injured in a road accident, about 6 were hurt at work. Hospital admissions from work-related accidents accounted for 2.5 million in Australia, according to Professor Badger. Twice as many days lost through strikes occurred as a result of work accidents. And I know those statistics have been used before, but I think they're well worth repeating.
Mr Hills went on to say that at present only a third of the 2.6 million workers in New South Wales are covered in any way by occupational health and safety laws. The Minister said his new legislation will change all that.
For the first time, all possible working hazards and all workers, including the Crown, it's important to repeat that, the Crown will be covered by this legislation and self-employed will be covered as to occupational health and safety under one ministerial control. The coverage will be to approved standards of protection. The Act itself and the regulations will enable safety committees to be formed at the workplace with rights to call in an inspector and a representative to accompany an inspector. Fines will be increased to $5,000 for a breach of the Act. Amount capable of being and these amounts will be capable of being dealt with by magistrates.
The dismissal notices were handed out first thing this morning to 182 members of the workforce across the entire plant. It was based on a last on, first off principle. Their jobs run out on the 27th of October, but it's expected many will decide to leave today. The BHP has made it known that their final pay will be made available at the main gate at 3 o'clock this afternoon. They're the first to be retrenched under the BHP's plans to cut steel production. Their only hope now hinges on an Industrial Commission hearing underway at the moment into an application seeking a freeze on all retrenchments. The moment of truth for BHP workers. Dismissal notices went out first thing this morning to employees from all over the plant. It was a matter of last on, first off. Officially, their jobs run out on the 27th of October, but many took the option of collecting their final pay today. And what do they feel about the future?
Just bought a house and new car, so got a fair few commitments. So I'll just have to look for another job and hope I get one soon.
Oh, a lot of people are depressed, isn't it? Got to pay off houses, just got the notice from the job. It's a pretty bad move around.
Do you think it's fair?
No, not at all.
I come from the country and there's nothing up there either. There's nothing down here.
I was brought out from England 6 months ago to work for BHP, and now after 6 months they kicked me out.
If we're willing to work at BHP, we should be supported in it.
These sackings follow the closure of the No. 1 Blue Mill on Monday. Next month, other plants will close, making way for more dismissals. In response to the sackings, overtime bans have been implemented in some sections of the plant, including the rolling mills. On another front today, miners at 2 northern BHP collieries met to hear a report on the closure of part of the BHP's coking operation. Meetings at other collieries will be held on Friday. Tomorrow in the State Industrial Commission, talks will continue on an application to freeze all retrenchments, but it may be too late for these men.